Everyone. Just go. Oh, hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hello. Just let everyone in at the moment.
Hello.
Did everyone get the email? I don't know what's going on with emails at the moment.
I got the email, but the date was wrong on the schedule.
Yeah, it said it was booked for tomorrow.
That ever happens because something's going on with Zoom at the moment. When I go into Eventbrite, it wants to talk to Zoom, and then they talk to each other, and then do what I want us to do. So if you've got the email, just click on that link. Ignore any dates, ignore any times, because that's the link we're using. And I will always put it under the event on Facebook. So if you're ever unsure and you haven't got the email, I'm now just plonking the Zoom link into the event on that day, so you can actually find it. Because I don't know I can't work out what's Zoom and Eventbrite are doing.
Are we pencil or watercolour? I know I should have probably looked.
We are pen, watercolouring and penciling this.
So watercolours, did you say? I'm not sorry.
Yes, watercolours.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go get them then. That'd be useful.
Just got people messaging me on the side here. Hang in there. Dawn, you're here. Right, let's just have a look.
Nicola said she might be late, by the way.
That's all right. I've just got everyone pinging me messages. Okay, cool. Right, I'm just trying to pin myself. How do I do that? How's everybody? Everyone's muted themselves. You can talk to me for a bit.
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, there we go. Kerry wants to come in. Right. Crazy day. I'm just letting people in at the moment. So we are today using watercolours, your uni bowls, or some black pen, as long as it's waterproof. To draw it all out, rubber you'll need, you'll really need. Right, where is pin your video? Has that disappeared on my screen? Let me find that. Right.
Hiya, Alison. Ali. Hiya.
Hey. Hi. Are you not running then, Laura?
No, did that this morning.
Oh, you're good.
In the dark, in the rain, and a rat ran over my feet.
What?
Oh, no.
Big, big rat like that, straight over my feet.
Oh, yeah.
Where was that, Laura?
Wickham Rye.
Oh. Do you normally see rats, or just like...
No, never seen one. It was an absolute whopper as well.
Maybe it got flooded out the drains because the drains.
It was, Wickham Rye was flooded this morning.
Probably was trying to swim, poor little thing. Or you don't call them poor little things, I don't know. All right, how is everyone today? How do I pin videos? I've forgotten. Do you know anyone how to pin? It's not showing my little box up here. Oh, there we go.
Then you click on your picture and there's 3 dots and then you choose it and
oh, that's me, is it?
Yeah.
I've got to. Right. Oh, there we go. I don't have 3 dots today. Technology today. Oh, there we go. There's my 3 dots, the little one.
Tell me about it.
I got it. Oh, I'm just having a technology meltdown today. Nothing is working. And you just think, no. So did everyone get their Eventbrite email, or was it just the date on the Zoom thing that was confusing everybody?
Yeah, it was just the date on the Zoom.
Okay, so I would just ignore that. If you ever get it through, sometimes I don't know what Eventbrite decides now to talk to Zoom for some reason. It didn't used to, and I can't seem to stop it from doing that. And it just randomly put that in. So just if I've sent it, just use that link. I don't know what Zoom's doing at the moment. I've still got to fathom that out. And I try not to touch it when I'm literally coming into Art Club, otherwise it might just collapse on me. Right, today we are attempting New York in the autumn. Let me move that light out of the way so you can see. So today we'll be using watercolours, your pen, and there's a few numbers and lots of squares to draw. As you can see, there's a bit of freewheeling with some vegetation. I should be drawing alongside. Is everyone all right? Has everyone had any questions before we make a start?
No, all ready.
Good, let's go for it. Right, as usual, we will start with the layout picture. That way, horizontal, and divide your picture into 4. Let me just get that line right. I'm just going to go down to my other screen here so you can see a bit better. Go down. There we go. And we put me on. Someone else coming in. It's Jenny. Hi, Jenny. Right. Right, this view, I'll just tell him just to arrive. Jenny, you're right.
Hang on, let me just mute.
Right, everybody, if you could just mute your mics there, that'd be good. If you've got any questions, just let me know and we can go from there. Jenny? Jenny, you're right. We're just on that one now, so you just divide your paper into 4 sections like we normally do on the horizontal. Right, next I want you to do is go and I'm just gonna, I can't see myself, so I can see you. That's better. Right, so starting from the middle, I'm gonna go up 9 dots, 1 centimetre apart. So you can use your ruler or you can guess it, it's up to you. Most of you are probably using your rulers now. This is just so we can plan the page and get everything kind of where it should be. Nice. Then come back to the middle and then go out to the right, 13 dots, 1 centimetre apart. This is so we can draw the bridge. And come back to the middle and go down 4 dots, 1 centimetre apart. Back to the middle again and over to the left, 14 dots, 1 centimetre apart. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just about on the page. Hopefully you should just about squeeze that onto your page. A bit of luck. Right, let's go on to number 2. Is everyone all right on that? We're all planned our pages out. Sorry, Dawn just messaged me. Right, I think everyone's in Art Club who needs to be there. Okay, I'm going to start to put the buildings on. So this one here, we're starting to do is I'm going to put this building on here. It's the first one we're going to pop on. So this little one on the side here. So we're going to start at the 5th dot, 7th, just before the 8th. So if we start on the 5th and up to the 2nd, so we're going up 2, just draw yourself a line across, and then start the 5th dot and draw yourself a line up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you like. And then you're going to draw you're going to come across 1, 2, just before the 7th dot, if you see there, I've drawn myself a line straight up. And then just before the 8th, it's about 1 centimetre, this little gap here. This little gap here is about 1 centimetre. So just draw it slightly in front. So that's 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. Just draw it slightly in front. Just kind of create a box basically. And then we're going to make that little angle. So in the background, I've just got this going here. That's about 1 centimetre, this little bit here, and then that's the other bit that we've got on there. So that's what you should have. This is how, is everyone doing all right? Just give me a thumbs up when you've got that little box on there. Ginny, you all right? You caught up? Cool, good, good. Back. Right, once we've got that on, this makes it into the little house. Now the important bit here is this little line here, because it makes this little angle here, and it's about 0.5 centimetre. You need to come down, but that is really important. We're going to rub out that lot, this little square bit. So basically, you can use your ruler or you can use your eye. It's really up to you how you want to do that. But this little bit here is what makes it into the building, and then you rub that bit out. You don't need it. That gives you a little building. And then as you can see on screen there, that's the enlarged version. I need you to fill in that little box there with what is up there. There's no easy way to do it. So the same here, where you've drawn this line across here, we've just drawn, make sure these two here follow it exactly the same. So if you see here, there's this angle here that you've just drawn, make sure these two follow it. And the windows also follow it, so they don't go straight. You notice those windows slightly turn and they follow the angle that you've created down that little left-hand side. The front is just symmetrical, and just pop yourself a little roof on. So it kind of goes like that. It's got a little bump there for the side, and then up there with a little chimney on the top. So look at the screen, take your time. This is about halfway down, all those two little lines on there.
Debbie, if we feel confident, can we do ink it? Is there any
Yeah,
reason?
I was just going to say, you can ink that. Once you've drawn it, you can ink it. You can go straight in with ink, or you can draw it first. I would say it's quite fiddly with pencil. So you might find once you've got the box in place that you can go straight in with the windows, because they are literally squares. They don't have to be accurate. If you look at my actual painting, they're all higgledy-piggledy. It's just in the background there, so it doesn't really matter how straight they are, if that makes sense. Just get it to look kind of like a building. But yes, if you would like to go, because the next step we'll do it in, we will go over it in our Sharpie, so please do that if you want to. So you can go over that part. Obviously, don't go underneath it, Liz. The bottom needs to stay like the enlarged version. I don't want any underneath done in with pen. It needs to stay open because the trees are going to go in front of it. So don't give it a bottom, basically. Give it sides and a top, but no bottom. And because you're working in such a small space, you might find going in the Sharpie, you might want to do the roof in pencil before. It's really up to you. Let's have a look. But feel free to message if you've got any problems. This is quite a angles one today, and then it's got a nature in it as well, so it's quite a mixture of some of your art that you've learnt. How's everyone's week been? All right?
Rubbish.
Rubbish. Yeah, I saw you finished your blanket. Your husband okay now? You were
That's the only good thing all week, I think.
your blanket, oh bless. Is he okay now?
We still don't know what it is. The painkillers are now controlling the pain, so he's much more himself today.
Yeah, oh bless. You look very snuggly under your new blanket though.
I don't literally only just finished it and he nicked it.
I don't blame him, it looked very nice. So what's your next project, Shelley?
Hats from my friend who's got to have radiotherapy and chemo, so she needs hats to protect her head.
Oh, bless her. Oh. So is that, she's asked you what sort of hats, or are you allowed to kind of think about the design?
She gave me a couple of ideas and basically said she didn't mind what I did as long as I did them.
Yeah, so you're allowed to, is that like woolly hats and crocheted ones you're going to do?
Yeah, because she only knits and she's not that good at it.
Yeah.
And she says if I make them for her, it'll feel like I'm there with her.
Oh, bless. Oh, that's lovely. Right. So what if you are going straight over with your uni ball, just make sure the ink dry a little bit before you rub out the pencil, if you did the sides in pencil before you went in.
Debbie, can I ask a question about the roof of this building?
Yes, it kind of goes, there's a side bit there, so the side bit goes, so you've got that bit there, right, it goes up like that.
Yeah.
The side bit kind of goes like that, and then you've got the front bit, and he joins up, so it's all just black basically, so it kind of got, if you can see, it's got a little bit there, so that if you say the roof goes out, it doesn't go that far out, but that is the back of the roof there, and it just joins on like a little, let me get this bit go in better than that. This front bit here, just draw like that, and just draw 2 triangles on, and then just draw a line across there to join it up. Does that make sense? And then it's all coloured in black, basically. And that's a little bit that goes on the top. And then you just colour that all in black. And that'll give you that little side bit on there. Does that make sense? Is that Suze?
No, it wasn't me.
No,
Jude,
it's
I
me.
think.
Who was it?
Judy.
Judy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You don't sound convinced.
No,
so basically,
I'm okay.
you're just going to put the front, I would put the front triangle on first.
Yeah.
And then the side bit, just stick them.
Yeah, and then just match it up.
And then
I got it in the
wash
end.
them up. It's a really odd shaped roof, but that is basically what it looks like. You can hardly see it really, so don't make too much of an issue of it.
Alrighty.
Okay. And then when you're happy, you can uniball that and then rub out any pencil. Just make sure your ink is dry. Yeah, let's go for that. Right, I'm going to put the next one on because you can still see the other one that's going to go on. Is everyone all right with that roof? I think we are. How are we doing? Have we done the first one? We're still uniborning at the moment, I would imagine most of you. What's you doing, Lolly? You can't see it, that's fine. Just colour it all in black, Lolly.
The whole building, I think, is too small.
No, it's not too small. You've done, I'll show you where you've done. Hold on. You haven't given him this bit here. You've got two same size.
Right.
Just make him a little bit, this bit here. You won't notice anyway, but I'll just show you for future reference. Don't, he's just in the background there, so don't worry about him too much.
I'll cover him in trees.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the trees are for. We'll cover everything. So don't worry about that too much. Right, let's just pop the next one on. So you can still see the other one on there. We're going to put the next buildings on. So where that starts is, I've started at number 8 on mine. You might need to come in slightly further over depending on where you've popped yours in, but we need obviously a little gap so don't sit on top of each other. And then it goes over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just starts before number 13 and sits in between number 14. So again, that side bit is about just under a centimetre, this little bit here. But what we do is we're going to start off with the box. So I would like you to just draw front box. So start at 8 and it comes up 2.5, so it's slightly higher than the other building you did. So come across, go up 2.5, just draw yourself a line across so you know where to start the other building. And draw yourself a line straight up from about, if mine's number 8, but just use your eye to just go up the side there. It's about, I don't know, what would you call that? Not even half a centimetre, it's just 3 millimetres in there. So there's a little gap. And then you should hopefully have enough. That's about 4.5 centimetres, this square here, across here. This front building, ignore that little side bit at the moment. All we're doing is creating the front of this building down here. So it's about 4.5 across. So just draw yourself a line across and then a line vertical up. So you've got a square there, basically. So I'll show you what I've got here. Background here, I'm going to draw myself a square. That's all I want you to do. Which is 2.5 centimetres up. So you've got your numbers here. 1, not 2, where we go? 1, 2, 3.5, sorry. I get that right. 2.5. 1, 2, 2.5. I've done one too high. Oh dear, let me do that. Ignore what I said. So you've done hopefully 2.5. I've gone and done 3.5. So I'm just going to rub him out. There we go. So 2.5 centimetres, as per my instructions on screen there, and I haven't followed. There we go. You should have a box, 2.5 centimetres up, 4.5 centimetres approximately across. And then we're going to draw this little side bit on, as we did with the little one to the side there. You're going to come across about, not even a centimetre, about, I would say about just under, about 8 mils, or if you've got a centimetre space, draw yourself a line up like that. So you should have something like that on the screen. And then we're going to do the same again. We're just going to cut it off there, about 0.5 centimetre. And that gives you the side of the building.
Is that the same angle as the other one?
Yeah, exactly the same. You just follow it. Yeah. So if you're unsure, just take your pencil and then just move it over and use that as a guide. So whatever you've drawn on that one, just move it over and draw the same on that one. So they kind of match up. Because everyone's might be slightly different, which is absolutely fine. But as long as they look nice next to each other. This is the enlarged, you can see on the side here, the enlarged version of what we're doing down here on the smaller one. Then we're going to tear it up like a cake. So once you've got your square on, so ignore all the details at the moment, we're just trying to get the building on at the moment. Once you've got those 2 squares on, so you should have that on screen, you no longer need that little line, so he can come off. Just rub him out. We're going to put the little tiered cake on. So we're going to go inside that square, we're going to go up and draw ourselves 1 tier, and then inside again and draw the next tier. So we're about the side bits at the moment, we'll pop those on in a second. I'm just freehanding mine. So basically like that is what I want you to have. And then when you're happy and you've got those front bits on, you're going to put the side bits on again. They're going to match the one that you've just drew. The angle you first drew here, these need to match the same. So they're also tiered because they're the side of these tiered ones. So you're going to go in from this side here, you're going to draw that down. It should look the same as that one and that one. But they come in like little steps, as you can see, because you've got steps up there. Basically, on my one here, I've got this angle here, so I'm just going to take that out, draw that down, take that out, draw that down, so they match the angle. Don't overthink it because it's so tiny and minuscule on the drawing, you can hardly see it, but it just gives that side view. As you can see on the one that, it should look like this. This is the one that you're drawing, and that's the enlarged version. Once you have that on screen, those boxes, we need to pop some windows in. And if you look at the painting itself, the windows disappear behind the tree at the bottom there. So I didn't draw too many of them in. Don't do like, you can do some across and just make them disappear behind the tree down the bottom here. But yeah, we're going to pop all that detail in. Don't worry about the top because we're just working on this part here at the moment. I'm going to put the top parts on in just a second. So as you can see by the enlarged version there, to help you see what's in that little one there, and then you can pop your windows in. So that is divided by 2, this little line here. All the side lines follow each other, so make sure that angle and that angle are exactly the same. So you take your pencil down and draw that, cut it in half, and then I would put these central lines in and then just pop your windows in. With your Sharpie if you want to go, not Sharpie, your Uniball if you want to go in straight. Yeah, so divide them in half, follow that angle, just make sure the side, you follow the side angles and it's symmetrical. It doesn't matter if yours is slightly different to mine, as long as it is symmetrical, you'll get away with it. So what I've done on mine is I've just drawn those lines on in pencil on the screen there, so I've cut it in half. I've followed that line there, and that's the same angle. And then I've just cut that in half. I've drawn those central lines in, and that gives me a basis for popping the windows in. I'm just going to put that there, like that. So make sure you cut that in half, do that. Then you can go over that with your Uniball if you like. Do not Uniball the bottoms. I don't want to see any bottoms Uniballed on these buildings because they are supposed to disappear into the trees. And then you can see the enlarged version where you've got all the windows and everything. So just take your time because this one is obviously the more intricate of both the buildings. Anyone got any questions? Anyone want to show you any angles to anything? It's quite a complicated building, but hopefully on the screen there you can see once you've got that basis on, like I've got this here, I'm just going over mine now with the Uniball. I've drawn it in pencil, this part here. I mean, you can use your ruler, just be careful when you're using your ruler because it will smudge if you don't pull it off properly. I tend to draw on with pencil and then I like to just freehand the buildings. I think for me that gives it that little bit more quirkiness. But if you like, Laura will like it straight, so she'll be using her ruler the whole way through. Yes. Whereas once I've drawn one on with a ruler, I'm quite happy to let the lines be a bit higgledy-piggledy. So now that is in with Uniball, and now I'm just going to fill it in, as you can see on screen there, with all the little windows. And you can see the bottom half here, the windows just fade off into the trees, as you can see here. They just fade off into the trees. So just make sure you don't draw like harsh lines at the bottom. You can, it won't make any difference to your picture. It just makes it look like they fade into the trees, that's all. So I would, once you've got that on, use your Uniball and get those windows in. And you can use your ruler to do the windows if you want. I quite like mine free-wheeled, so I tend to just quickly draw odd windows and then tidy them up once I've got as many as I want. You can have as many as you want, whatever you can fit in. I've done more on my smaller one because I did smaller windows. It just depends how small you want to draw. Just needs to look like windows. I think of 3. Squeeze some many on this one. It's just giving an indication of what buildings they are in. Your eye will make it to what it was. Who's been to New York? Who actually has been to Central? You can speak.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Who have? If you, Liz?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. See, we was.
Yeah, I have. I go quite a lot.
Do you?
Really go a lot, yeah.
Lucky. We loved it.
I've never been.
It's our go-to place.
Oh, nice. Well, we were supposed to go this year because it was it is my son's 18th very soon, and my husband's 50th this year. Amy's 21st next March. It's not any special one of mine, but I just want to go. So it's the only way we're going to get to go. But no, we haven't got anything planned yet.
And it's fantastic place. We had a brilliant time.
Yeah, really fabulous.
Yeah. And even the boys, they were about, I think they're about 17, 18, 19, I'm not sure.
Did they like it?
They loved it. And Gareth is he's a real nature boy. And he was
Yes.
like, well, I can't believe you're taking me to a city.
Did he like it though?
No, he loved it. Yeah.
Ah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I recommend it.
I want to see the buildings. My husband's been on business. That's why we've all never been, because he used to go lots on business. So he was talking about some building. Is it the Chrysler building or something?
Yeah.
Art Deco. Is that the Art Deco?
Yeah. It's all a lot of New York's up there.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, every time you watch a film, you go, oh, I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah, I can't wait for that then.
It's a really fun city. Really, really fun.
Is it?
And you feel very safe despite all the armoured police everywhere.
Is there a lot of police everywhere?
Yeah, there's a lot of police, yeah. And it's really buzzing, like all night long.
You see, that's what I'm
but
like.
if you go, we've got a fabulous hotel, we could let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Really, really fabulous. And I can, we can give you some suggestions where to go and what
That'd
to
be
see.
lovely. Thank you. Yeah, it's because it's so big.
Yeah, and you need to, if you're only going for a few days, you kind of really need to plan, because you could just get, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So, I think planning, certainly your first trip, is well worth it.
Yeah, no, I would love to go. I don't know when we're allowed to go or anything. I suppose you are allowed to go, really.
I don't think you can go at the moment.
Can you not go at the moment?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think you'd want to anyway. I think their incidents.
No, it's a bit like,
New York's all right. Manhattan's all right at the moment, I think.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. I think people are traveling in and out of America. I guess it depends.
You have to still isolate, because we have some friends, and one's American and one's English.
Yeah.
And the American's just gone back to the States and has had to self-isolate for 14 days.
Okay. Oh, going back there?
Yeah.
make you do that then? They don't hear.
No. That might be why we're all in the state we're in.
No. Oh dear. Right. Thanks, Jude. I will take you up on that once we are allowed out and about. I was looking forward to going. We were going to go in half term, but obviously not.
Well, Stacey doesn't really want to travel, but the only place that she's willing to go back to is the States.
Okay. I've got a sister out there, but she's over in Wisconsin. So it's not really anywhere near. But you just fly everywhere. When we lived in America for 2 years in Colorado, you basically just fly all over the place, don't you?
Mm.
Keep the picture on the screen while people are talking. Lisa, am I not pinned? Where's Lisa?
Oh, wow.
Lisa, am I pinned now?
Hello.
If people talk, can you still see my...
No, I see them.
Okay, I need to...
I see their
I'm going to... Right, remove all pin videos. Spotlight, don't be fast, so everyone. We'll remove all pin videos. Right, I'm going to see. Can you see me now? Someone else talk, Lisa? I think I've done it.
Hello, hello.
hello. Yeah, that's
Can you
better.
still see me? Yeah, right, cool. That's,
Yeah,
what,
that's it.
that's what I was looking for earlier. I needed to pin me. Brilliant, thank you. I can never find it when I come in here. There's so many little boxes you've got to tick. I have to go to me and the spotlights. Right, good. So you should be able to see me now. So just take your time getting that bottom building right, because we're just going to build up onto that, the top part. It's a lot of drawing to start with. Then you get to freewheel the trees a little bit, so it's a lot of structure to start with. We will get to do some freewheeling trees in a little bit. So the same again, make sure you don't put a bottom on him. He just needs to fade off into, we will be rubbing this line out eventually once we don't need it anymore. We'll be putting the little towers on the top. Next stage. So hopefully you're uniform then as we're going along with this. So on the background here, I've just finished mine off. And I'm just going to rub out the pencil. Just waiting for the ink to dry before I do that. Especially if you use lots of colour on the windows. And you might find bits you've missed, which I've just found. I need to go in with my... Pop him back in. You should have something like that going on. I quite like my windows looking higgledy-piggledy, but if you want to do them a bit more straight and stylized, I quite like them looking a bit odd. I think it adds to the oddness. How's everyone doing? Have we got to that stage on our buildings? If so, give me your thumbs up. I can pop the next stage on. Just wait for everyone else. Jenny, have you done yours with Uniball as well? Yay. Wow, whipping along. Nicola, are you all right? Did you arrive on time?
I was a bit late, so I'm catching up, but yeah.
You're right, are you? Okay, cool.
Mine always gets washed, but it'll go out and wash later.
I'm just waiting for everyone to catch up. So basically, once you've got the box on, make sure you put these 3 lines on, and then they've got like 3 rows of windows, and then match the side. As you can see, just match the side to what you've got on the front there, and then just do a few sort of windows at the bottom, the top ones, and just little windows at the top. It's nothing. They don't have to be, you know, just make sure they're equal on your picture. It's slightly different to what I've got on there. I've done slightly different under here to what I've got there on the screen, just as long as it looks similar. Is everyone right for me to move on to the next bit? How are we doing? Let me know when you've got your little boxes on. Cool, Lisa. Kerry, Ross, you all right? Good, good. Shelley, how are you doing? Good. Caroline? Caroline's concentrating. It's, you probably can't find it. Yeah, cool. Brilliant, brilliant. Lorraine, how are you doing, Lolly? Lorraine? You're good. Good, good. Right, I'm going to pop the next bit on now. So we have put the base on. We've put 2 towers on now. So it goes up to about the 6th dot. So draw yourself a line across. If you need to go higher because yours is slightly not how it was or doesn't fit, just make that visual adjustment yourself. It doesn't really matter as long as it looks something. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just going to draw myself a line across so I know how high I want to do them. You might want to go a bit higher if yours is slightly lower, but don't forget you're going to put little tiers on as well. This is the enlarged version over this side. And it's the same thing again. Draw yourselves a box across. It is, I drew between the 8th and 9. There we go here. So I started just before the 9 because I started on the 8th, but you need to kind of use your judgment and go where the middle bit is and then go out from there. That's what I would do myself. And they go to the edge of that top tier that you drew. If you can see on the screen there. And you're going to put that little side bit on, which is the same again. You've got your box. If you look over here, we've got this box. And then you just come down at that angle. The same that you drew, it should match the building all the way up. And you just rub out that little square. And then you go, you just put a little tier on the top again. And you just match that angle. It comes down. And you pop a little, it's very small on my picture that you saw, the painting, you can hardly see it. It's just a little arch and then there's kind of on the top dome line. So just draw that. It's very small, you can hardly see it, but just try and give an indication of a top on there. I've got hardly any detail in my painting, to be fair. So draw yourself, as you can see on the screen, the top parts, and you can see where they'll fit on your one. Go from the edges of each of yours. Draw yourself a box first, like we have been doing. And then draw a little side and make sure they match. So I'm just going to draw up to my 6 centimetre thingy. If you need to do it a bit taller, if you're not happy with how tall yours is, then change it. This is the time to change it. It needs to be probably slightly taller than the ones you've got below. So you might need to go up slightly higher than the 6. Just pretend, it depends how big you drew these little tiers here, these two, this one here and this one here. So just try and make it look bigger than this big bottom box. So I would say it is centimetres we're working. So that's about 2.5. That's about 3. So it's about ½ centimetre higher. So just go above that 6th line there. It's a judgment. You can go above it just to make it look a bit bigger. Just use the screen there and try and get it similar to what you can see on there. There's the enlarged versions. You just might need to fiddle around with it a little bit because it really depends how you freewheeled your little tiers. But just give an indication of that's the building really. This is where we can start to use our kind of, I want you to use your judgment a little bit more. This is what I'm trying to get you to, because I can't see how you've drawn your little boxes, and that's good because you're just going to make that little artistic decision on where you want your, how high you want your little tiers to be. They might need to be a bit bigger, a bit wider, but you've got the plan on the screen there to kind of make decisions, and you can change it. to match what you've got. It doesn't matter as long as it looks something like that, honestly. I'm going to take mine a little bit higher, I've decided. I'm just going to go up a little bit more. Mine actually goes above the 6 because I've done my tiers a bit big down here. So I've got this pad I work on, it's bigger than the A4 bits of paper, so I've got a bit crazy with the space. So I'm adding, mine's gone up almost 7. You might find you need to go up a little bit more, but it doesn't matter. As long as it looks in proportion to what's down below here. Just these should be slightly longer than this little box here. So I'm just changing mine. So put those on, put the little... What is that building anyway? Do you know that, won't you? I have no idea what it is. Just saw in a photograph.
Sorry, did you hear me then?
No, I didn't.
I think it's an artistic impression more than an actual building.
Oh.
I could be wrong, but...
Oh, okay. I thought I took it from a photograph. I'll have a look.
Well, maybe...
I don't know. I haven't seen it either, I must admit. But it's in a lot of... I'll go and have a look. Sure, it's a photograph. Someone's using an electronic razor. I can hear it. It's good for things like this, actually. I'm just having to adjust the top of mine a couple of times. Mine's not tall enough. Just as long as they're the same height, actually doesn't matter. And then once you're happy with yours, go in with your uniball and tidy them up and just draw in the windows and everything. So if you're using your ruler, be really careful when you pick it up off the page because they can smudge. So I'm now just...
Debbie, it's Ross. Is that an arch on the below the top bit of the building?
This bit here, or are we
up here? That bit
this
under your thumb.
This?
No, up. Yeah, where your uniball is.
This?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
There we go. Draw that bit. Is that a bit better? It's like a dome thing on the top there. I don't know what it is. It's probably a clock tower. It seemed to have like some pool dome thing on it. I'm intrigued now what it is. So yeah, once you've got the building there, just pop your windows on. You can go straight in with uniball, or you can plan it with your pencil and then just make sure the windows match up. I finished next week's pumpkins. I was painting that before I popped online. So that's why I was late. I suddenly realised the time. I got a bit carried away. So how's children going to do Halloween then? Does anyone know how they're going to do? My children are beyond Halloween now.
They're suggesting that you just do it at home indoors yourself.
Is that what they're saying?
Won't be decorating outside because I can't risk too many people knocking on the door.
No. Well, I was told if you put a pumpkin in, this was before COVID, if you put a pumpkin in your window, they would knock. If you didn't have a pumpkin in the window, they weren't supposed to. But I was out anyway, so I was never there. And then when I was, I'd buy sweets and end up eating them all. So never quite like that either. But I do-
We've got a Halloween quiz, family quiz on Sunday.
Oh, that's a good
We've
idea.
got to dress our room up and ourselves.
Oh, what a good idea. It's going to be strange for the kiddies. That's a good idea, though.
Stranger for Lorraine, it's her birthday.
Oh, is it? Oh, Lorraine's sitting there quietly about that one.
She's my little witch.
So what are you
Yeah.
doing, Lorraine, for your birthday? Are you still all locked in down there in Leicester?
No, we're in tier 2, so people are like saying, oh, we can't have more than 6 people in our garden now, and that's a restriction, but that's the way we've been living since March. So
yeah, no different though, really.
No, we're no different.
But you're allowed out now. But they were locking you down more than us, weren't they, at one point?
They was at one point, yeah. Yeah.
They let you out and about. So you're allowed to go out and eat if you wanted to for your birthday or something?
Yeah, can do. Yeah. Can't, to be quite honest, I think the kids will just knock the door about 50 times and I'll just keep pretending I'm somebody else when I answer the door.
Yeah, in those days. Taking the children to the restaurant was actually more stressful than just getting a takeaway and sitting.
Absolutely. It's Saturday as well.
I will say it does get better when they go to the restaurants, but then they're on the phones and you have to tell them to put their phones down. Otherwise,
yes,
you have to confiscate those. That's the next thing.
No phones at the dinner table. Yeah.
I just remember when we were, because mine don't have much. They're a bit better now. I managed to get a better package for them, but when they were younger, they didn't have much download because I didn't want them to use it too much. And when we were on holiday in Turkey, they used to go, can we go to the restaurant? And they literally would sit there with the Wi-Fi, and we'd say something like, you have 10 minutes to download all your stuff, talk to all your friends, and then you will put your phones away. We'd have to find a restaurant. I think then it makes them appreciate they don't need to be on those things all the time. And they didn't have it abroad on holiday. In our villa, I don't think had Wi-Fi. I did that on purpose. I don't dare do it now. I think they kill me.
It's getting the balance, isn't it?
It is.
The balance.
They're quite good now, mind you, because they're older. They understand, and actually, they get fed up with it. To be fair, but when they're at a certain age, it is quite difficult to police it. I basically policed it by I think if they ran out, they didn't have much download, so Tesco's would have to message me and tell them they'd used it up. My son used to just suck the life out of it and finish it in 5 minutes. Because he used to try and watch YouTube on it, and then we realised actually you've got to use it sensibly, otherwise you won't be able to, because I refused to buy any more. So then he'd have to have Wi-Fi to do whatever he wanted to do. So he realised actually he needs to be a bit more frugal on what he did to make sure, and they both do it now actually really well because of that. When we come indoors, they used to turn the packages were a bit different then. My children are 20 and nearly 18. Now that's almost seems to be unlimited as just the norm, but it wasn't then. You'd have to pay more. So they used to flick their phones to Wi-Fi. So they didn't use up their phone downloads. They had it when they were out and about. Bless them. That's a cruel mum. Otherwise, they're just, you can imagine them all sitting on YouTube or whatever out and about. Something like that. Doesn't happen. I don't mind indoors because at least then you can see what they're up to.
Yeah.
But it's different now. Phone packages, I think it's just not to have unlimited. We don't do those restrictions anymore. It just was interesting which child used up it the most regularly. Right, Lorraine, what are we up to? Good. Try this window. Those 2 bottom windows. Where are we? There. That's good though. Oh, what am I doing? There's an extra line gone on there. Didn't want that. Oh. That's good, Lorraine. You can fill that in. Lolly, sorry. Right. If anyone else wants to flick it over, feel free to. I've just filled mine in the background and rubbed it out. He's like that. Just make sure you've got it. Just it's just fades into the background. You don't really see too much of it. I'm not sure which photo I used. What building it was. I mean, I have used my artistic license to simplify it. Oh, yeah, no, they're not. We recognise it.
Hi, Stacey.
Oh, hello, Stacey. Did you come to look at New York?
Well, she lived there for how long? Over a year.
Yeah.
And I asked her if she recognised that building. But
What is the building? It looks like two Chrysler Towers next to one another.
Whatever that is, that's the photograph I used.
Wow.
I think that's on. It must be up
Central
on West
Park,
Side, yeah, Central
Yeah,
Park.
Central
So
Park.
I don't think
It's either
actually, it's not far from where
El
Marianne.
Dorado or the San Remo.
Okay, are they hotels?
Yeah, they're kind of
Beautiful.
apartment blocks, luxury apartment blocks.
They do look very nice.
But they look very similar, the San Remo and the El Dorado, and I can't work out which it is.
Very good. Well done, girls. Keep going. Come on, you can do it.
Waiting for your stick men, Stacey.
Oh, is that Stacey who did the stick man on the bridge?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Did you not guess?
I know. I did see it though.
Can I ask you a question? It's Julia here.
Hi, Julia.
Can you just tell me now which direction the light is coming from? Is it just face on?
It's going to, in the painting, it will be coming, so the light is coming from the left-hand side. That helps.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's all right. So how's everyone doing? Have we got our little towers on? Laura, have you managed to be with the ruler all the way?
Once I used my Uniball.
Yeah, you just went in and did it.
Yeah.
Good, good. Well done. Amanda, how are you doing? You're good. So has everybody got their tower on and kind of uniballed it in? Give me the thumbs up if we are at that stage.
Yep. Debbie, I sent you a WhatsApp with the top of my towers.
Selective on top towers. They look fine to me. Liz?
Do they?
Yes.
All right. Are they just, I don't know, they're a bit, and they're not equal.
It doesn't matter, mine aren't either. They don't need to be. It's just kind of I won't worry about it too much. It's not really it. If you look at my actual painting, one's slightly bigger than the other. It's absolutely fine. So you didn't even notice, you see. You won't notice once we've got all the other stuff on.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a picture. It's not a, but you won't, once we've got that all painted up, you won't even see it.
Good.
That's what, it's called artistic license. That's what we say. Well, that's, yeah, I'll just say, I always just say to people, that's how I saw it. People ask. Right. So, as you can see, that line there has disappeared. You can rub that out. You no longer need it. Don't rub out this middle line here. So that horizontal line that you had, that's why I didn't want you to put in the bottoms of the buildings. You can now rub him out because you no longer need him there. And so we're going to place the line. And it's not, you can draw a straight line if you want, but obviously it needs to be like higgledy-piggledy because it is actually a piece of earth. And it starts, this is the middle point, so you know. It starts at about the dot number 2 down here. Oh, that's not the middle point. I'll get that right in a minute. That's the middle point. They sat on that bit there. So come down to dot number 2 and draw yourself a little wiggly line across. You can draw it straight if you want to start with, and just make him wiggly after that. And I said, this is, if you're confident, you can almost go into, I like the way you guys are all getting quite confident to go into with your uniball. That's really good. So that's your higgledy-piggledy line to sit the trees on, which we're going to put on in a second. And then this island, which is this bit here. So we're working at the moment, just so you know, we're working on these trees here. And we're just going to put this little island in at the front here, in the back there. And he starts at about, this is dot number 3. So if you just draw yourself a line across, and then you can see where it hits your building. This is the end. Use your building as reference to see where you're going to end your island. So about in the middle of your little tower. And then just do a little lumpy bit on the top so it fits in between the line you've just drawn. So just come out. So that's 1, 2, 3. Come out to the middle and then just draw, like you can see on screen there, an island similar to that. Just give him a higgledy-piggledy shape. And he finishes just slightly before the vertical line that you've got with all your dots on it. I'll show you what I've got. It doesn't have to look exactly like I've got on the screen. I've just drawn that behind the scenes there. So I want to do something like that. Once you've got that on, as you can see my instructions here, you can pop your trees on. Now you can do these exactly how you like. I've drawn a big version over the other side so you can see basically how to draw one. They are so in the background there because we're just going to go over them with paint. Don't overthink them too much. The ones in the foreground here, probably more so. These are in the background, so they need to be less significant. They need to fade off into the background. And then we'll just put the reflections in after that. So if you could just pop some trees in across there, leave a little gap. They just come literally past your small building there. You can go straight in with uniball if you're confident, or draw them in pencil first. Decide, make that decision. I'm quite happy for you to go straight in. Some of you are getting quite confident now and want to go straight in. I'm just going to draw, I've drawn mine in pencil, the island and the line. It's going to go over. Make sure that bottom bit is straight on the island because that's where it sits in the water. And then like a higgledy-piggledy line across. And then just start either left to right to left, depending on what hand you hold the pen in. And just draw yourself some trees. Use that so as you can see the light. I think someone asked me which way the light's coming from. It's actually coming from the left-hand side on this picture. So just draw a little side of your tree. It's got more shade on it on the right-hand side because it's in the dark. So the light's coming from the left. I usually do it the other way around, so I've changed it this time. Is anyone doing anything in half term? Going away or anything? Escaping Berkshire?
No,
I'm having to go up Norfolk towards the end of half term, see my dad.
Yep, off to the west coast of Scotland.
Oh, you are, Laura, that's right. Is that all still on and everything? Everything's all right on that?
Yeah, Nicola Sturgeon is not locking anything down or changing anything till the 2nd of November. So we can,
wow.
I mean, we can't stay in Edinburgh anymore, but we'll just go straight to the west coast.
So Nicola Sturgeon's had a happy pill then.
Oh, she has, as far as we're concerned, for once.
She's decided she actually might need tourists to finance all this stuff. She's decided to do. Oh dear. Yeah, I wonder why she's decided that. Well, it's good for you though.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you're driving or are you flying?
Flying to Edinburgh, then hiring a car, and then we've got a lodge on the side of the Loch Awe.
Nice. Is the weather looking all right? I mean, it rains sometimes.
No, rains continually.
Oh, well, you just... That's nothing new for Scotland though, is it?
Nah.
Is there nice, there must be nice walks and stuff around there though, even if it's
yeah,
rain.
it's beautiful.
I think you just get used, you just put your hat on and off you go. We're used to running in the rain anyway, so Rain's no problem. My Wednesday night class, actually we didn't have rain. Laura, we didn't have rain last night.
That's because I wasn't there.
Oh no. Don't. No, always have rain on a Wednesday night, guarantee it. Wednesday night class, bless them.
My little family, my son and his family are going to the Isle of Skye on Saturday. They've never been. The 11-year-old is the one that wanted to go.
Yes.
He's packed his wetsuit so he can swim in fairy pools, he says.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, bless.
Yeah.
What's fairy pools?
I don't know. He's seen it on YouTube. He's seen fairy pools at the beach on the Isle of Skye. So I have absolutely no idea, but he's such an outdoor boy.
Yeah.
So he's packed his wetsuit.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, you know, that's like, don't let the weather stop what you're doing, basically, because it's never really good, is it?
They've just packed all their wet gear, Wellingtons and everything else, and little ones be 6, but yeah, they're just, I told them to take a piece of string so they can hang on to the little one if she blows away. It's only tiny.
That used to be my little sister. We used to park her at the end of the beach to go fetch the football when the wind used to blow it, and she used to run after it. So. Yeah, I actually prefer the seaside in the winter. I remember my parents dressing me up in wellies, going to the Norfolk coast. Wellies, scarves, hats, gloves, and we just used to walk along the beach. And the wind would blow in and we'd splash through all the puddles with our.
Well, that's what they're used to because their holiday home is on the North Norfolk coast. So
they're used to that then. So
it was about 70 miles an hour in the winter across Brancaster Beach.
Yes. That's why my little sister used to play football on the beach, and she used to have to stand by the one who was stuck with the wind blowing the ball in that direction. So there's 3 of us, by the way. So the 2 eldest, me, I was the eldest, and my middle sister used to play football. My younger sister used to have to stand behind the one where the wind was blowing and then go get the ball if we missed it. That was her job, because it used to go. Once it was gone, it was gone. Really used to fly, because they're those really light. We only had the really light footballs. Right, I've popped my trees on here, so you don't overthink them too much. Your trees, just squiggle your pen around a little bit, really. And they go up into the buildings. There's my one in the background there, so I've just done mine going up into the buildings, because we're just going to paint those in orange. We will give the reflections in a minute. Ooh, and then we go on to the bridge, the other side. So this side here, on the left-hand side, once we've just quickly popped the reflections on, that all needs to be uniball. So if you are still on pencil, you need to start putting stuff into uniball on there for me. And by all means, flick stuff over it if you need to. Just let me know, because I've turned the sound on. So it doesn't ping all the time. So you get to freewheel your trees a little bit. Oh, Hannah, you're there. Hello. It's straight lines, and it's watercolours. I was thinking of you.
Well, half good, half bad.
Yeah, I kind of thought, it's a bit straight lines, a bit watercolour, and then there's a bit of freewheeling.
Feel like it to start with, yeah.
It just gets worse because it's watercolours.
Yeah.
You'll be good. You'll be good.
I updated the eye on the whatever we drew last week. I forgot what it was. The map. So yeah, it did look better.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, I would say this to everybody, for when I do my art, I'll sometimes go, oh, I don't like that. I walk away and I come down in the morning and go, oh, okay. And then you can actually usually see where it's gone wrong, because you overlook it. And sometimes you need to say, stop, walk away, and then come back to it, because you can always overwork things. I'm terrible for that. That's why quite often if I paint, I will paint 2 paintings at the same time, because I then will go to that one, move that over while that's drying, and then go to that one and move that over, because it's very easy to overwork a drawing or a painting. And that's a very good way of stopping you do that. If you're ever unsure about something, you can take a picture of it or look at it in the mirror. If you look at something in the mirror, that will actually show you where it's not quite right, or you take a picture of it with your phone. In my old art days, we used to stand in front of the mirror because we didn't have phones. Another good way is just literally leave it. If you're unsure, leave it and then come back to it. You can always, all of you on Art Club, even if you're an attending Art Club and you're actually here, you can always request the video. I really don't mind. It's there now. I've sorted out the Zoom memory, so it will stay there for a long time. You're always welcome to the video if you need to go back, redo it, or go back and add something in. So, but you will have to just fast forward stuff through. But yeah, that's a good way, is just to just take away, like Hannah said, she went back and she could see. You could see it the next day, couldn't you, Hannah? Yeah. Eyes are difficult though. So what you have got
my mouse is missing foot.
Well, you don't realise, you get so carried away with the moment. I mean, I do it a lot. Sometimes my stuff's not always perfect. You know, I do paintings you only get to see my good ones. I have a big pile of not so. I'll draw something and then I realise I've done it. I had to draw this working house. I don't know whether you've seen that commission I did. I spent, it took hours, that one in Broad Street, and I drew it up and I loved it. And then I drew the tree, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I drew the tree like that. It was slightly off, and every time I looked at it, I couldn't bear it. So I had to draw the whole thing again, just because my tree was slightly not an angle. Obviously turned my paper at the wrong angle and was drawing it slightly off. And I thought at the time when I did it, I thought, oh, great, finished. And I came down in the morning, I went, oh. So I had to start that again. So yeah, that is, it happens. But good basis of any good, you know, if you're doing a drawing, like Laura will know, she's done a really good drawing at the moment. She's going to be working off that to create some really interesting artwork. It's have a really good drawing as your basis. And then if it goes wrong, you can just use trace paper, trace it, go back onto some paper because you've got the drawing there. Right, how are we doing? Thumbs up if you have pens, trees and your island. Good, good. Lolly, how are you doing? You're all right. Lorraine? Good, good. Ross, how are you doing?
Nearly there.
Okay, cool. That's all right. Just make sure you get this bit right, because we're just going to put the reflections on. Actually, I could possibly put that on because, I mean, I haven't drawn the buildings on the top because I really wasn't going to do that again. But what we wanted to do is, I'll just show you on the painting so you can understand what we're trying to do. So we're just going to literally very lightly draw in the reflection of the island. And then in the water, you've got a very, very delicate kind of squiggly wiggly reflection of those buildings. And then the trees. We've done reflections before. We've done them in when we did the autumn wood. So whatever you see up here reflects in the water here. You've got the trees. So wherever you've drawn a tree, you just draw your little tree into the water. And a very delicate, you'll see my drawing just a sec. As you can see, it's wiggly like water. So, and even the windows. So just follow where you've got yours up here. You follow building. So first of all, I would put in this island. Needs to go in first. So draw in pencil if you're unsure. This one you might need to draw in pencil because you're turning it up the other way. And then very gently go over it with your uniball. Very, very literally are touching the paper with your uniball to give an indication. And then we'll just pop some grey painting there once we do that. So put in your island, and it's higgledy, it's squiggly. This bit here is kind of straightish, but it's reflection, so the water is slightly moving. Leave a little gap. Ross, are you all right to do this at the moment? Just carry on with what you've got going. I won't change it for a minute. So I've just done the reflection of the island. So on my one, I'm just going in with pencil at the moment. So I've just done the reflection of my little island, sort of wiggly wiggly in my pen. So, and then I'm going to put the trees in next. So I'm going to start from the right hand side and just do. So basically, I'm just going to do this as an indication of a tree. That one there. Don't have to do all of them. And this one here kind of goes on the end of the island, so I might add a bit down there like that. And that's all I'm going to put in. As you can see, it's just squiggly, wiggly because it's water. It just needs to have a little bit of movement in it, so not straight. And you are mirror imaging what you've got up top there. So that's all I've done in pencil. That there. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to put in the building ones. So I will go in mine and I'll just go like this with my pencil down and it'll be about there. And then that bit there will be about there. And that bit there will be about there. So I'm just going to squiggle it in. Let me just see up there like that. And go across. Horizontal and squiggle. Because it's reflection, it doesn't have to look, I'm just doing some little squiggly windows, it doesn't have to look square because it's water. So what I'm wanting from you is that movement. And it's sideways, that. I want that. And then when you go across the bottom, it's just tiny little bits like that, but it's sideways. It's really important to get that sideways. I don't want any going that way. Needs to go horizontal because you're following the water horizon, because water doesn't travel like that unless it's going down a waterfall. It sits horizontal to make sure your squills, and then line up your next building. My one's here, so I'm just going to take my pencil down and he goes there, and that top bit is about there. And I'll use my pencil to come down. It's about there. And the side of that building is about there. So it's about there. And I've got the top bit. Then my two, so that's my little side of that building. It doesn't have to be, it just needs to kind of give an indication that there is a similar shape going on in the water, basically. Something like that. Siggly piggly. And once you're happy with what you've got in there, my guidelines, you just go over it with your needle. So just go in and just very gently and lightly give those a little bit. Let me just focus that a bit better. Touch. I mean, you can even do a little bit of, if you've got dark on your tree as I have there, you can make that a little bit darker, but my lines aren't straight. They're going sideways like that across the page, as I showed you earlier. And just like that. And put the island in, it's just wiggly lines, slightly wiggly. Just gently. Don't have to do the whole thing. Just touching the page very lightly. You can bring your pen on and off because it's a reflection, it shouldn't be harsh. Any harsh lines on those reflections. Down like that. And then you can kind of wiggle in some windows, which are kind of just squiggled. They won't be square because the water will be distorting them a little bit. And that's what I've got going on. That's my one. There. If that helps you, I'll put that one there. Now once you've got the reflections one, you can get it out. Have your pencil lines out, and you should be mine's quite, I haven't got much lines because we're going to put paint on there. It's just giving an indication of a little bit of a reflection, not much. That makes sense to everyone, hopefully. Oh, and then we go to the other side. Let everyone catch up with that one first. Just make sure they go this way though. Those squiggly lines. Bridge on. A minute, and then the trees, and then we're ready to paint. Quick bit. Right, how are we doing? Let me know when you have got that uniboard on and ready to rock and roll. Cool. Right, I'm going to pop in the next bit now. Right, don't be scared. I'm going to cover up some bits because I only want you to do this bit first. So we're going to work. So what we're doing now is we're popping on this side, which is the bridge. I can leave that all there. I'm not sure if that will confuse you, but we're going to work on this part here first, on this side, part one. So it sits, you look at the picture, it should sit, this is your island, and it sits, should just come in just below that on the picture. It's just on the painting, actually, probably easy to see. You see where this comes in front? So this is your main island in front there. That's what we're trying to do. So you might need to just go over what you're doing a little bit, but probably not too much. This is number 2. You're coming down. We're going to start on the dot number 4. That's where the whole bridge sits, on this line that goes all the way across here. So you can draw your fifth one along.
Debbie, you froze.
About a third dot in. And we're going to go, I think we'll just work on this up to the little 5th line. And you're going to go between the 2nd and 3rd dot on the vertical. You're going to take it almost to that 5th line there. I'd take it all the way across and come down. And you're just going to put that little triangle on with the little circle on top. That goes to about 1.5. Sits in between those 2 dots there. Just have a look on the screen. So come about 3 centimeters. You might need to just go in front of what you've drawn slightly, which is absolutely fine. So 1, 2.
Sorry, Debbie, Miranda, you froze for a little bit. Can you just repeat?
Yes, I did see that my internet connection. I bet my son's just done something on the internet. What did you like to see?
Just from when you started saying exactly where to put everything. So from the three to the left, I think.
Yes, so it goes 3 to, you might go in front of that island you've just drawn on. You might not. You might need to just adjust it slightly. And if so, just come in a little bit. Just bring this bit in a little bit. And it goes up, so it goes along number 4. So basically we're working on this line number 4. Have you got all the lines in, the 4 and the 5?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, cool. So we're working along the number 4 here. And then we're going to go up. So you might have to pull this bit in a bit. You're going to go up between the 2 and the 3. And it goes up to the 1.5 line there. All the way to the 5 line that you've just drawn in. So just draw what you've seen here. So that goes between the 2 and the 3. And it carries on up to about 1.5 point and sits there.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay. You might just need to adjust this point here at the front here, everybody, depending on where you put it. That's absolutely fine. So there's my 1.5. I'm just going to take mine up. And just, because it's an island, make sure it doesn't have a straight line bottom. It's more of a... And then as you can see there, that's that tiny little start of the bridge. just draw yours on like that. And you can see on there a little circle for the start of the bridge. You sit, if you look there, you can see, you can draw a little line down. That's the start of the bridge. So on mine here, I've just drawn mine on here, so it goes up like that, basically. That's my 1.5 point. I'll just draw my third point's there. So I'll just I can take him out there. Just going to screw him up. He hasn't got a straight bottom because it's a amount of dirt, and this is the start of the bridge. So that's the 5th line there, and a little ball on top. And that's what I've got going. Once you have that, voila, you've got the bridge itself. Now, you're going to use this part that you've drawn here. This is number 6. And as you can see there, we're trying to create this little structure on the bridge. So you don't have to worry about it too much, but it's just to make the bollard that it sits on, really. So, is everyone all right? Sorry, I had someone talking. So as you can see, that one's quite big. This one's quite small, and then we've got 2 little ones. And this is number 6 line there. So you need to squeeze this in, this little bit in that little, between the 5 and the 6 centimetre point. You can see on the screen there. So just draw yourself a line from the 6th dot down. So I'm going to do here, look, just draw myself a line down like that. And then I'm going to put another line across. It's bigger, it's slightly less wide than the one you've just drawn with the little circle on top. And then 2 sort of thinner ones. And they all kind of level on top, and you just give it another little ball on the top there. Screen there, that's all I've done on mine in the little gap that we were given. Okay. A little, put that on. Once you've got that on, you are going to use this point here to sweep out and come level with the horizontal line to go at the top of your bridge. So this point here, you're just going to sweep out and come up. Once you've done that, you're going to come, this is number 2, so I would say just below the 2. So it's narrower here, and it swoops up. And it swoops up, but it needs to be wider here because it's nearer you. So you need to create that distance so it's narrower here. So you just follow the line that you did up the top here. You need to just follow it, your one, but it needs to be slightly wider, as you can see on the screen there. And you've got another line underneath, and that will create the top part of the bridge. So we are doing that part now. That helps you not to do the bottom bit. So you use yours and just sweep up to that first horizontal line that you drew, just gently, just a nice bridge shape. And it just fades off the page. And you come back, and I would say that's less than a centimetre. That's about 1.5, just over 1.5 centimetres if you want to measure it. And then make it wider. Follow the line that you've drawn up the top, but make it wider. So I've just drawn that, that helps everybody. So it's narrower there and wider there. And then just draw your other line underneath. So you've got those 2 little lines. Don't worry about these little circle bits, we'll pop those on in a second. And then underneath, you need to create this kind of, now I'm going to just pop underneath the bridge here. That's what we're trying to create now. So you're going to come from this start here, and you're going to swoop up, and I've sort of join mine about the 8 and 9. You might find yours is slightly different. 6, 7.
Sorry, Debbie, it's Ross.
That's right, Ross.
The under the second curve for the bridge.
Yes.
Did you say it starts at 1.5 centimeters?
No, it's about, I would say 7, about 7.
Okay, thanks.
That's all right. So just follow, Ross, just follow that so it's wider, and then just draw another line next to it. And then the bit underneath starts literally at the point down here, as you can see, and mine goes up to between about the 8.5. And then you just follow again, and then you follow again. This goes in a slightly, doesn't go like that, comes in more of a point. It just comes in slightly. So I'm going to go, where's my 8, 9, 6, 7, 8.5. So I'm going to take mine up 8.5, and then just do a double line underneath it. And then this is about just past the 9. There you go. That's the 9th point. So this bit here goes the 9th point up to about 12.5. It's not as, doesn't have the same width here as it does up top, because it's coming around 6, 7, 8. I keep writing on mine because I'm getting a right old pickle. 9. I'm so used to just drawing it. Right, that goes there. So that's my, I've just drawn on my 9th point. So that is going to be the bottom. So that's my 9th. Just draw my line down there. And then I've got the 11.5, 9, 10, 11.5. I'm just going to curl it round. Just try and curl them round. You might need to adjust it a little bit so it looks similar to what you've got on screen. They're just a rough idea because they all have, they're slightly different. So once you're happy with the structure of your bridge, I've got that on screen there, I'm happy with that. I just have to alter this line a little bit. It should kind of go more of a kind of squashed triangle, like a sail of a ship, really. You can uniball yours in and do those little decorative patterns now, literally a giant circle, half a circle like that. That's all I did. Obviously they're a decoration on a bridge, and I'll just colour them, and they get smaller as you go towards the smaller part of the bridge. So you can uniball that all in. Once you are happy with that. And as you see, the line just carries on underneath because it's like an island in the background there. And the same again, just be careful when you uniball and you're happy. So those little round things that are wider near the, so I've got one on here, so I'm going to start off with wider ones here and just make them smaller as I get. Go back, basically. Just hand draw it. Doesn't have to look neat, just needs to look, gives the indication of a bit of decoration on the bridge. To go over everything. Once you are happy your ink is dried, rub it out. And just put trees on. And paint. You're done. Oh, next week's one's a lot easier. It's circles. I'm painting. Hannah won't like it. It's lots of painting, Hannah. Painting practice. It is shapes though. You'll like it because it's shapes. So I've got my bridge going on there. That helps everybody. And I've just quickly rubbed out the pen to just do an indication. You don't always have to in art put lots of detail in, because you need to let someone, the human eye, do some of the work for you. It makes it a bit more interesting. Otherwise we'll be doing like a graphic design picture, which we're not doing. It's an atmospheric picture. So just draw that up with there, and then I've rubbed out that line underneath. It's the line and like that. Do that. So just make sure you've got that little perspective going with it, where it's narrower here and it's wider there, like you can see on my picture there. It's wider as we come. How's everyone doing? So just put some trees on. Has everyone done there? How are we doing with our bridge? Hands up if you've done your bridge. You might not have yet. Jenny's like, whoo. It's a lot of drawing. Lisa, how are you doing? Good? Good, good. Dawn? Dawn's drawing away, I can see her. Good, good. So just make sure you get that right. How's Alison doing? Alison's concentrating. Good, good, good. Hey, you found the thumbs up. Yay. Laura, how are you doing? You've done yours. Good, good. Right. I will let people carry on. I'm just going to put this on so everyone can see what the next stage is, because then we can get ready for painting after that. So what we're going to do is just carry on with the bridge if you have, because you can still see it on the screen there. We're going to put the trees on. It's the same as the other trees. These are on the foreground. So these are bigger. So you will need to take them up. This is number 6 up here and 7th. So just draw yourself like a little line here and a little line there. So you kind of can see how high they, so that's the 7th, sorry, I'm going a bit higher. And that's the 6th. Just draw yourself a line. It's got right across it. So you can see how high to draw your trees. So if you look at the painting, we are putting this tree in and then these trees on the island and the reflections. You can do that all at the same time because you've just done it on the other picture. So I would at the moment just put the trees on, and then once you've got the trees on, we can put the reflections on. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't have to do 5. Really up to you how you would like to do that. Cool. Just use your, so basically this one here, have one that goes up to the higher line. We kind of get this little effect going here on the island, but it kind of goes round. So this one here is quite big. These are quite small, so you don't want to overpower the buildings here. And then we've got one on the side there. So you can use my ones on the screen there. You can go straight in with Uniball if you're confident, or just put the trunks in and then go over them and just take them up to the 1, 2, where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just going to draw myself a line across the 6th and 7th so I know how high to take my tree. And they're just an indication. You don't have to draw them in detail because you're going to go over them with paint. So you don't really see that, you only really see the bottoms of the trees, and just draw in some wiggly bits. Does anyone need to see a tree? Where's our other tree? That's one, the big version. Right, there's the big version. That helps everybody. And just make a variation on that. Light's still coming from the same way. Don't have to be as detailed as my one on there. Just a rough, I just did it so you've got a rough idea. So they always start with nice thick trunks and then just squiggle the lines out as you get higher. One of my favourite things to do is a tree. I think they're beautiful. There's different types of trees have all different shapes. If you go for a little walk and you have a look and look at silver birches like we've done, they have different trunks to Oak trees are beautiful in the winter once they use all their leaves. They look like, I don't know, skeletons on the horizon. They're beautiful. And this foreground one here, I did him slightly off at an angle to go across. So you can just do in the parameters. I think that's about, you can see you've got the buildings there, so you can just fill that hole that you've got basically going on. So just squiggle those in. I'll just do mine in pencil in a minute, and then I'm going to go over in pen. I'll show you what I've got. So I've put in, I just squiggled in 3 there, just squiggled in that one, and then we've got 3 there. So I'll just get my pencil and go behind the bridge. There's one there. It's not as high. And another one, another small one. I'm doing that in the background there. Just blurry. My camera. Out of camera shot. And do 3 little ones there, and then a great big one that kind of comes over and fills this little skyline gap. So don't overthink it. Just you've done umpteen trees. We've done lots and lots of trees. So that's one of my favourite things to do. You're just filling in the hole. So start off with your base, like on this tree, and then just use the squiggles and branches and just squiggle out. So I've just put mine on in pencil. I'm just going to go over mine in Uniball. So that's what I've got going on. So I've got some small ones in there. Just do some squiggly like that. Do we have another one there? We didn't have one there. And then so I've got 3. I'll put in 4 because I can. And then just this one just needs to come over a little bit to fill the gap. So you just do little lines, literally. And once you're happy where they are, you can just go in with your Uniball and make them more permanent. Yeah, and then once you've done your Uniball, tidy it all up. Oh, you need to put reflections on. That's all you need to do. Once you've got your little trees on, as you can see there, you just mirror image what you've drawn yourself down in the water there. With you can go straight in with your Uniball because you've already got the template there in your pencil drawing. So just take your time getting that in. The actual paint in itself takes nanoseconds because it's just blue, bit of orange, lots of water. So just remember when you're drawing your trees, you've got the light coming from the left. So all I'm doing here is I'm just filling in my trees. I've done them in pencil, so I'll just come up the trunk here and I'll just squiggle my pen because these Uniballs are great because they will create that kind of tree texture without much effort from you, because I'm very lightly holding it. I'm not hardly doing anything. You don't have to press hard on them. And just let them, like a little spider for the trees, squiggle all over the page. And just do that side of the trunk a little bit darker. I'm just lightly, very lightly, just letting the pen, do its thing, really. So they're wonderful because they've got little balls in them. They just glide across the paper. So that's just because we're going to cover these with paint. So we don't need to worry about too much detail. We just need something for the paint to sit on, basically. We need the skeleton of the tree there. That's all. So I'll just take that one out there. Squiggle like that. So it's got that side of the trunk dark and he's over the bridge. Like that. And then we're going to put, once you've done your tree, don't forget to do the reflection of the island, as you can see there. These are very lightly with your Uniball. And then mirror image the trees, do a little squiggle out the side there, the side of the, so your mirror image in what you can see. Now, if you're not sure, just pop them in with pencil to start with. And then just use that as a rough guide. Don't overdo the reflections. So it just takes everything away from the rest of the picture, just to give an indication of that they're there. So just use what trees you've got as before, slightly wiggly. So just put the island in. And then you just mirror image the bridge as well. You just do little squiggly lines down under the bridge. Make sure they're side. They always go that way, never downwards. And there's my bridge there. I'm just going to do a little, I've got my tree there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to overdo those reflections. I'll leave that like that. Once you've got it on, just tidy that all up. And we've got the wax. If you have a wax candle, you can use that. Sure, everybody has. Hopefully we have. Just tidy that all up now, because you literally have done all your drawing about all your pencil. If you're waiting, you can get your paints ready. Water. You can do this in watercolor pencils as well. I'll just finish mine off first. So I've just got that. I just literally did some really quick squiggles in the foreground there. And that is what I'm going to do for the reflections on my one. You can, if you want to, do an indication that there's a little ball there. But don't overdo it. Don't make it too complicated. There we go. That's my wax. So don't hurry. If you are waiting, you can get your paints ready. If you are still working, then please don't hurry. You will need if you've got your wax candle or your little wax resist pen, we will need that quickly. And I'll show you where that needs to go once we're ready. I'll tell you what colours I've worked with. They're already full, and then the yellow. What was that one? Yellow. So give me your thumbs up, no hurry, when you have got similar, oh, there we go, similar to what I have on screen. I don't expect it to be exactly what I've got on screen. Please take your time. So, as you're getting your paints ready, you're probably not yet, but some of you might be. I just use orange, burnt sienna, phthalo blue for my sky, but you don't have to use phthalo blue, you can use cobalt blue. The yellow I have in my sky this time. Should have something like this. This is what I'm going to be working with. Just tidy up all your pencil. And we'll put the wax candle on before we do any painting. So that's the next thing to do. Just get my paints ready in the background here. And shout if you need, I'll tell you what colours. When everybody's ready. They're very autumn colours, basically. Might not have exactly. Did everyone manage to match up their paints to my palette? Hopefully they did. Some of you have different. If you are new to Art Club and your paints don't necessarily have a label, I'm more than happy to send a photo of my paint palette because I always work from the same one. I've got this kind of thing that I have in mind that I made. So I know, which you should really all do with yours, is a colour chart of your paints. So you know what you've got to work from. So I just got a piece of watercolour paper and painted squares and labelled them and then laminated it. And it literally sits in my art box. So when I open it, I can see, because they all look, even to me, I'm never sure what colour I want. All I need to go is, oh, I need a rusty colour. Oh, burnt sienna, there it is, I can find it. Because they all, when they get mucky, which mine do, because I just dip everything into the same one, I lose track of what colour's what, especially my yellows. Well, that's cadmium yellow there, because it matches my little chart. So that's something you should really do. If you've got your paints in tubes, also the same. My paints in tubes, I have a bigger chart here. I do my paints in tubes, so I can match. So I do all my yellows together and my reds and my browns. So when I'm painting, I can choose. That's something you should do yourselves outside art club. So you, at least you know, and even with your coloured pencils and pencils, so you know the variations and tones of what you've got. It just makes it easier for you when you open the box, because you won't remember. I don't remember even when I open my box all the time. Because I do have different paint boxes depending on what paints I'm using, but sometimes you need to be reminded of what colours are in there. So how's everyone doing? Are we at this stage? Most of you? Thumbs up if you are. Cool. Have you got a wax candle or wax resist? Alison, do you have a wax candle or wax? Oh, you do. Big candle. Nice. I've got one of these. I've got a big candle and these are the artist ones that you can get on Amazon. They're called wax resist. They're like a wax crayon, but they're basically made of wax. And if you haven't got, a candle will suffice. Now, as you can see in the picture there, we just create some little, these little lines here are actually from this wax candle or wax crayon. So you just go like that. We've got, that's all we've got on the water. I don't think I put it anywhere else. Just a little bit on reflections there. I think we might put some on the buildings to save them from getting covered in paint. So I just want to make sure everyone's at that stage before I pop that on. How's everyone doing? Are we at the stage when we can put our wax resist on? I see people rubbing away and tidying up. Judy, you at this stage? Cool, cool. Dawn, how are you doing?
Can you put the picture back with the wax swirls on it?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
There.
Perfect.
So basically, if you're waiting, I can pop that on actually. We can do that while everyone's waiting. This, your wax candle, I want you to create horizontal little wavy lines across your picture, as you can see on the screen there. So when you do your painting, it will resist the paint. So see, look on the screen there and do them similar to what I've done really. It doesn't have to be exactly like that. And then the side, I would put some just on the sides of those buildings because I don't want you to lose that if we paint the sky. So I'm just going to put some wax there. And then put, it's really for the water. So don't just sort of do some, you won't see where they are, but you will once you've done some painting. Just make sure they go horizontal. And then I put some on the tree. Don't overdo it with the wax. Put some on the bridge there just to stop you losing it. So over the bridge here. So in the water, to create that kind of ripple effect, a little bit there. I put a little bit on the trees in the water there. And that's all I did, not much, as you can see on the screen there. Don't go crazy. But equally, make sure you push hard enough. Some of you have used this before. You've learned where to and where not to put it, should I say. If any of you got any questions, please ask away as regards that. If you've done your wax resist, you can get your paints ready. I am using my usuals. Well, let's do the sky. It's phthalo blue and cadmium yellow. if you don't have phthalo blue, cerulean blue will be similar, kind of a light blue-ish. And then I'm using indigo, which is the building. If you don't have indigo, sort of Payne's grey will do. And then the trees are literally orange and burnt sienna mixed in. And then we put a little bit in the water there. So the sky, because you're mirror imaging what's up top, down the bottom, they're the same colours. So it's blue up there, the same blue down there. You've got the phthalo blue, not phthalo blue, the indigo on the buildings, which we use. And then we've got we use some of the blue and the indigo all mixed together in here, and the orange to create the kind of browny colours. So there's 5 colours I've used. Hopefully that's all right with everyone. Is everybody at the stage to get your water ready? That's what I need to do. And then you need a bit of kitchen towel. There was no splashing, splodging today. Laura, you'll be very pleased to know. I did it specially. Laura Levitt. Oh, you did do splashing the other day, didn't you? And Shelley did. It went all over her computer or something. Yeah, a bit.
I'm still finding bits.
that was a bit messy. No splashing today. No splashing today at all. So we can get our paints ready. So I've got my water there, my kitchen towel there. Let me just see so I can see what I'm telling you. There you go, up there. Right. We can check everyone's at paint stage. Is there anybody that's not at paint stage at the moment? I can hang on for a second. I can't see you all to see whether you are or not. Caroline, how are you doing?
All good.
Good. Susie, you all right? You on painting stage? Some of you are possibly on pencils. I'm not sure. Jenny, are you doing pencils or paint?
I'm doing paints.
Cool. Right.
I'm painting ready.
Yay. That's what I like to hear.
I haven't got phthalo blue. What's the best other blue?
I would use a civilian.
I've got ultramarine. I've got Prussian, ultramarine.
Prussian's a nice one, or I wouldn't use ultramarine. I would use Prussian, or I would use. So you've got cobalt blue.
Yes.
Yeah, either cobalt or Prussian. If you've got a scrap piece of paper on the side, just have a look and see which one you prefer, because this is your painting. So which one you prefer. So you should always, everybody, have a scrap piece of paper on the side, just to put a little bit of paint on there to check that's the colour that you like to use. So you don't have to follow exactly what I've done. I'm quite happy for you to change colours as you need. So to paint the sky, I always paint upside down. Because then it's easy.
Debbie, what size brush are you using? Sorry, it's Ross.
I use quite a big one.
Oh, yeah.
This is a 12. I do also use a, what's this? It's about 7 for more detail. But I do, Ross, always use quite a big one because it holds the water and the paint, and I can control it a lot more. So it's really your preference. When we're doing the sky, it's easier the bigger one you've got. The biggest one you've got, Ross, I would say.
You happy with that one?
As long as it's not like a decorating size one, you do have people who have those as well. So I'm just going to...
Debbie, which blue are you using for the sky?
I'm using phthalo blue, my favourite. I'll be using phthalo blue, but you can use cobalt or cerulean, whatever one you've got in your little pot. You can decide on a little side piece of paper. I always use phthalo on my skies. I just like it's just for me, it's a nice blue. So I'm just going to
I've just realised what the time is. I'm going to go now because I've got to get up really early tomorrow. So can I ask for the video and then I'll do the painting? I've finished everything, but I just want to do the painting all at once.
Yes, Kerry. Just
I head off now.
Yeah, send me a message and I'll pop you on the list.
Wonderful. Cheers.
You're
all
right.
right. See you.
Okay, cool. Bye. Right, let's go in. Water. So you are following. Let me just so I can see. I just went on to carry that myself. Right, I am slightly tipping my paper so the water is running down that way. You don't have to work upside down. I just prefer to because I want this. I will be turning it in a second. I'm literally painting with water
Just painting water.
around the skyline there. And all on my brush is water. I'm just going to go in between these trees here, very carefully, with water.
She's not using blue, honey. She's just.
That's it. Oh, that's got a bit of red in it. Don't want that. Come. So now I'm going to put in a little bit of my cadmium yellow. Just got a bit of Halloween colour in it because I've just been in pumpkins, but hopefully that'll be all right. And I'm just going to let it, because I've got it slightly tipped. Can you see how it's running? It just runs. I don't paint all the sky, so I'm just literally, where I've got the water, it will just run. This is why, Ross, a bigger brush is a lot easier, because you can just use it. It holds more water. And I'm just going around the buildings like that with the yellow. And it's just running down the page. I'm just leaving it, just let it do that. Clean my brush. With watercolour, you do have to keep cleaning your brush. So I've got a clean brush now, I'm just cleaning it with water like that. I'm just going to let that, it's running, it's slightly tilted, so that's flat and it's slightly tilted. Now, I'm going to get my page and I'm turning it around. So now you can see what I've done, like that. And at the top of the page, I've got water, so I'm just going to put a bit more water on. I'm going to put on my phthalo blue. There's my phthalo blue, there it is. And I'm just literally going to put it across the page like that. And it'll just follow, because I've got water on there, it's just going to follow where I've got the water, and I'm just dropping it on. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to meet the yellow. So I'm going to just tip it up that way. Now it's going to run down the page. There we go. It's a bit better if I tip it like that. It's going to run down. Now it's running down the page to meet the yellow.
What technique?
Just what I want it to do. And then once it meets the yellow, you just quickly lay it flat. Clean your brush. Just kind of gently tease that in. Right. Now to create the clouds, as we've done before, you get your kitchen towel, tear a little bit off, screw it up in your fingers, and then you just lay it on gently. And you just choose where you want your clouds. You put one there, you can put one there. I'm going to put one up there. And that's it. That is your sky done. Don't overthink it. So what you need to do, because you've done sky up there, the colour you've used for your sky, we need to put some in the water because it's a reflection. So you go in again with some water. That's all. Around the island, where you're going to have the water. You can see where the water is because you've just drawn it on there. And under there, under the bridge. And I'm literally just painting that whole bit up, the whole bit down the bottom with water. Going with my phthalo blue on the brush, because my sky is phthalo blue. And I am literally just painting in the sky on the bottom there as a reflection. And because I've got that wax resist going on there, it will actually show up the little water reflections. So you've got the reflection of the sky. If you've got big clouds, you can put a little cloud in with your tissue if you want to. There's a reflection. It's up to you. I'm going to cover that up, so I don't want that. And there's that. And that's your water at the moment. So then these trees are literally burnt sienna. So again, go in with your brush, a clean brush with just water on it. And where you've got the trees, just paint very carefully that area with water. And get your burnt sienna in your brush. So I've got there a bit of burnt sienna. I'm going to pop it on. It's quite bright. Clean my brush. Got the paint on there, so I'm just going to clean my brush. Don't panic, it'll sit there. And then just take off any excess water on your brush. I have quite a big brush, so I have to take off my excess water. So all I've got on there is just water now. I'm just going to move it around with my paintbrush. It's in the back, in the distance, so that it needs to be more faded. Distance things are more faded, so don't overthink those trees in the distance. They just need to be a very washy colour of burnt sienna, and that's all I've done, and that's fine. That's all the trees need to be done now. So then we've got these trees in the foreground here. Or we can actually just put some reflections while we're still working on those trees there. That's a little bit, so you've got the damp of the water going there, so you've got your burnt sienna, so you can almost top that on top now. It's a reflection colour. If you find you've got too much water, like I have on my brush, I'm just going to take some of it off. Just go in around the island there. You have to control the paint and the water with your paintbrush. I'm just mopping mine up, it's got a bit too much water going on there. Foreground is always darker than the background. So remember, anything in the foreground of your picture will always be darker than the background. And then we're going to go on to the trees in the foreground. They are literally a bit of water, same thing. Over them with water. And you're going to put the same colour on, burnt sienna. So there's my water on there. My burnt sienna's going on. You see, I'm just dabbing it on. I'm not really, I kind of roll my paintbrush quite often. It's quite a good one. You just get your fingers, just roll the paintbrush. It makes it more random because trees are not symmetrical. It actually makes you work more looser with your painting. And I've just got a paintbrush and literally just rolling it. And the paint will find its own way. If you've got the water on there, it will just find its own way. And just rolling it over the trees as we go. The foreground ones need to be a bit darker, so you just add in a bit of orange going on there, and a bit burnt sienna. So I've got a bit orange and burnt sienna, so I'm just going to add a bit darker. Now that's just on there. Just randomly, don't put it evenly. They're trees. Put that over the picture where you want it. Put that one there. So a bit of orange going on in that one. And they kind of need to simulate the trees in the water, so you just put a little bit going on in the water here. It's not too much. Borrow from that one. So whatever you've got going up top, you kind of need to simulate down the bottom there. You've got the same colour on your brush, so you're just literally carrying it through. Those, and that's the bridge there. And then I'm going to use a smaller one across my actually smaller one, so I can get on the islands, because I can't get on the islands with my big beastie brush. So that is actually indigo. Where's my indigo? Here's my indigo. So the buildings themselves, just going to move that around a bit more. So if you find your watercolour like I have just now, I've got a little puddle going on, just moving that around. See, the buildings are literally a wash of indigo. So where it's in the shade there, you put a bit of water on the front of the buildings. And they're the same colour. Where's my indigo? There he is. And you just wash across. Very light. If you find you've got too much, you can just pull it off with your paintbrush. But that is the front of the buildings. I've already got water on there, so it's kind of just sitting there quite happily. Oh, there you come. And then because it's the light's coming from the left, you can do the left hand of the building a little bit. You can add a little bit of a darker side here.
That's a cool technique.
Okay, like that. Just gonna take that off. Too much. If you find you got too much, you can actually take paint off. You just clean your brush, dry it off, and then put your brush on there, and it will suck it up like a little hoover. On this side, I'm just going to leave a little bit darker. Clean that off a little bit. And the bridges, the what we've got, the islands. The islands are that Payne's grey with a bit of burnt sienna that we've got on there. So I'm just going to put that on there. That's my island. Clean my brush off. And I've got Watercolours on my brush now. I'm just going to spread it about a bit. Add a bit of brown on there to make it a bit more island-like. And just wait and watch, see what it does. You can take it back if you don't like it. And just take that off. And then copy whatever you've done up top. You always need to do with the reflections underneath. You've simulated those buildings up the top there in your little reflection. Just they're literally a bit of Payne's grey over the top in the water very lightly, because you're doing indigo. Sorry, Payne's grey. Indigo. There we go. That's my buildings. I'm just going to sort. Did we lose you, Laura? You all right, Laura?
Yes, Steve turned all the internet off.
Oh, that's nice of him. Right at a crucial moment. Was it falling? Was it failing or something, or was it all right?
No, he just switched it all off.
Okay. You're very patient. I think I would have gone nuts. So just to work around the painting, as I said, I've just put the reflections in wherever you've got up top with your, I'll put indigo. If you've got Payne's grey, use Payne's grey, and you're just mirror imaging what you've got up top in the water. And then you just move over to the island, the same as a bit of indigo and burnt sienna on the island, just creating this island here with some mud, basically. You go under the trees there, behind there. And then I will put that in the reflections in a minute. Keep cleaning your brush and taking the paint off. If you find you're moving paint around the page, that means you've got too much paint on your brush. So I want this to blend out now here. So it's not doing it. So I need to clean my brush again, dry it off a little bit. And I tend to take it, my finger like that and dry it off. And then you're just teasing it out. See, now it's doing it because I haven't got much paint on my brush. I literally got water. And then it'll blend it out for me a little bit better. Like that. So I'm just going to pop in the islanders in the reflection here. You might borrow some paint from there actually. There you go. So you can borrow paint from up top, pop it down below if you've got too much. It's quite. And then I can add a little bit more in a second. I'm just going to borrow a bit right there again for this bit here.
Oh no.
Puddling up. Under the bridge there, it's the same colour, it's the indigo. See a bit of shadow. So it's dark under there. 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 And then I want to blend that out, so I'm just going to clean my brush. Off the excess water, just use my finger to take off. And then I'm just literally going to tease it. What you have to be careful with is these brushes hold lots of water, and when you turn it vertical like that, all the water comes out and it just makes a big muddy squishy mess. So the knack is to put the paint on and then literally move it around with a drier brush basically. So that's under the bridge, and then I've got my little island there, and which I'll probably put some burnt sienna and indigo to carry on the brown island theme. So that bit here is brown. And then I'll clean my brush. So I've got the paint on now, so I'm just going to clean my brush and then go back in and sort that out in a second. Clean my brush, take off the excess water, sketch down, and use my finger to take off the rest, and then just tease it out. Just take it and it just fades it across like that. And then the bridge is just a little bit of, we put the shade there, and the shade. Just remember whether you've got, when you're working with this, just remember where your shadow is. The light is always coming from the left hand side. So I've just taken off the excess water and I'm just giving it a bit of, taking the colour out like that. There's too much paint there, so I'm just going to take that off. Move around like that. Indigo there, something a bit darker behind there. That darker there. All that I'm going to simulate in the reflection. Clean my brush. And under the bridge there, this little bit here, it's a bit of indigo, so just pop that in like that. And then clean your brush, and then just blend out the edges so it kind of fades into the water. Just fades under there, so you've got the bridge going on. So whatever you've got up top, you need to have going on down below. It doesn't have to be the same colour as mine, just as long as yours mirrors what you've got up top. That will work. And if you haven't got up top, just pop it. If it doesn't mirror, just try and do that. I've got that little bit there. Look. That should be almost. Does anyone need any help? So I've got a little pool of, my paper's making this little pool here, gather. I keep spreading the love. Right, go out there. You want it to pool. You might find that happens. See, with watercolours, you kind of wait. So I'm going to add a little bit more in there now. Feel free to ask questions, everybody. I'm quite happy far away. So I've got burnt sienna and a bit of orange. So I'm just going to, now that's dried a bit, I'm just going to add a little bit over the top. So you might have to wait till the paint's dried a bit to get a little bit more darker colour. And then I'll clean my brush. I don't want those splodges, obviously, so I'm just going to wash them out a little bit. A bit of water. That's it. That obviously wants to gather there. Just going to have to go with it, I think. Another quick way is to have a hairdryer. Try your pieces of work out with. I'm happy with that. So the foreground trees, just make sure the bigger trees in the foreground are darker than these ones by the building to give that sense of perspective. Because if they're not, then I've got this going on here, which is really irritating me. I've also got a dip in my paper, this bit here. So now I'm going to keep cleaning it. So I've got a brush and I'm just going to put that in and it sucks it up like a hoover. It's just a dry brush. And clean it, dry it off, and then take it off. See how it's taking it off now for me? So I've got a puddle going on there and I don't want it. There you go, let's make it a bit better. I actually want some dark colour going on that bit. I want to create some leaves. There we go. Happy with that. How's everybody doing? So Lottie, you just got to move around your picture and start balancing it, making sure the foreground, which is this bit here, where you've got the bridge and the trees, is darker than this bit here, because that is in the distance. Everything you ever paint in the foreground should be denser with paint. And to create that distance, everything in the background is less. So at the background, all these bits here should be a really light, very light touch of paint. And to create that perspective, the foreground needs to be dark. You can keep going back. I had to keep going back once my paint had dried out a little bit. I went in with a bit of orange and burnt sienna and then dabbed some leaves on there to get darker orange on the foreground. And the same with the mound of mud here where the leaves are sat on. And then equally the trees in the reflections there. This part here with the buildings and the island is a lot more faded. As you can see, even the islands in the water, I've hardly put any paint on there because otherwise it just distracts your eye your eye will always find the dark first. Always, without fail, it'll go into the darks first. So if you've painted that really dark, you can get it lighter, or you have to paint the foreground really, really dark.
Okay, that makes sense.
But it's learning the tones and how you want to do it. And watercolour is probably one of the hardest mediums to paint with because you need more water than you do paint. I've had this palette for about 10 years. I hardly use any paint. My most used paint is ultramarine and phthalo blue, and they're probably the only ones I've had to replace because I use more water. You have to use more water. So I always put water on. You don't always have to put water on, but this is how we've done it today. And then plump in the water, plumping the paint into the water and watch it. Watch it do its thing, and then control it with your brush. A lot of way to paint trees is rolling your brush. I find that quite useful to do as well. Anyone got any questions? Fire away, I don't mind. Oh, Hannah's again. All the stress of watercolouring.
Yeah, I was super stressed. I've got to pop off now, but I will send you it either later today or tomorrow morning. If that's okay.
That would be great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. See you next week.
You're more welcome, Hannah. Lovely
Bye,
to see you next week. Take care. If you need to go, by all means, go. You don't have to hang out. We have kind of overrun by quite a bit. I'm quite aware. It's quite a difficult pitch to do. Next week it's just balls of pumpkins. Maybe I'll put it on actually on Facebook. The next one. I was actually organised. It's painting. Get you painting. We need to get you painting a little bit more. You can do it with watercolour pencils, but I think painting. I tell you what. I've got a question. I did put on Facebook a while back. Would you like me to do a very short instruction video of how to blend paint, watercolour paint in, do little boxes of dry, blend in, wet?
Yes, please.
Would you,
Ross?
Would you like me to do that? Now,
Yes, please. Yes, definitely.
Cool.
Definitely.
I can do that and I can pop it on Facebook. Will you find it if I pop it on Facebook? Are all of you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Cool. Leave it with me then. I will do that. Then you can access it when you like. I might put it on Zoom and then you can access it and have a little bit of a practice with it. Because there is a knack to getting controlling the paint. You have to keep cleaning your brush. If you put the paint on and then start just moving it around with your paintbrush, so if you put it on and you're just going to get the same color all over the paint. So you put it on, then you clean your brush, you dry it off with your finger, with the kitchen towel and your finger, and then you move it around where you want. Then you put some more paint on. It's in and out. You're constantly in and out your water pot. I mean, my little kitchen towel here is absolutely sodden with water because I've been drying my brush off with water and going in and fiddling with it. So, but I would like to see what you've been up to. If you could, I think most of you, is there anyone that's not got my WhatsApp number or can't send it via WhatsApp?
Debbie,
yes.
It's Jude. I'm going to go, but I'll send you a picture, but I think I need to do some touch up when it's just a bit drier.
Yes, you might find that you need to do these darker leaves on.
Yeah, I'll send you what I've done and then
brilliant. Thank you.
I'll probably do it in the morning.
Yeah, brilliant. If you could do that, everybody, if you could send them through. These trees in the foreground and a little bit in the foreground, you might need to work on when it's a bit drier in the mornings. But I'd love to see them once you're done. If you feel you.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Thanks, Debbie.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Myself, you can see me.
Thanks, Debbie from Ross.
Welcome. Ross, if any of you, I'll take myself off. If any of you want the video, please ask me. I don't mind.
Thank you.
It's Miranda here. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Right, Miranda, take care, mate.
Thanks, then. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome.
Bye, Debbie.
Bye-bye. Love to see you.
Bye.
Bye. Liz.
Thank you.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Debbie.
You right, Jenny? You catch up
Yeah.
with me?
Yeah, I caught up.
I've got on my list of whales.
Oh, sea whales.
Sea whales and a dolphin.
Have I shown you my turtle?
No. Show me your turtle. Oh, wow. Love that. Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm trying to do little tiny fish at the moment, but they're not going well.
Oh, well, I'm going to do, I've got a picture of my, like, dolphin. The wave comes over and he's coming out And then another one where the whale is half out of the water and you can see under the water.
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yes, they're two on my list that are on art clubs. That might be in November, I think. Then we'll go
I'll
to.
send you my picky and I'm going now, Debbie.
Thanks,
Thank
Jenny.
you.
Happy to see you. I hope your husband's all right.
He's getting there slowly.
Good. Thinking of you, Dave. Take care. Bye. Oh, you can't.
Bye, Debbie.
There we go. I'm hiding in the
Take
dark.
care, Debbie. Have a good one.
Take care, Jenny. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Laura. Have a lovely holiday.
Thank you.
Your trip up to Scotland. We're well jealous.
Thank you, lovely.
Taking the madness.
I've sent you, Debbie.
You all right, Lorraine?
Yeah, I've sent you my.
You sent one. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
How did you get on in the end?
Not bad.
Right. Oh, here we go. Let's just pop through. Oh, yes. Like that.
It got splodges too.
You have got splodges. I like that. That's really nice. It's nice to see because actually people using the stuff I've taught them, which is what I'm hoping people do. Lovely. That's really good. Where's your
yes,
your course you're doing?
Oh, don't. It starts tomorrow. That's why I'm in the conservatory tonight, because my sewing room is covered in bits of material and all over the table. I've got to go and clear. It starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, then all day Saturday, and from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock on Sunday.
Oh, is it an American one then? Why does it start so late in the night?
No. It's just that's what she's. No, she. Jill lives in Maidenhead.
Oh, 11 o'clock at night though. You working?
Starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow until 9, and then all day Saturday, and then Sunday from 10 till 3.
Oh, okay. So that's wow.
Yeah.
That's full on.
Yeah. And I've never done it on Zoom before, so
interesting how it works. You'll have to let me know how it works.
Well, yeah, I've had instructions, so I've cut lots of bits up already to try and start because I'm very slow worker. So